None.
I want to have some fun on this Friday. Like I said, it's as boring as it gets in the NFL right now. There is literally nothing happening. I mean, teams are about to go on vacation. Most of these players and their agents are taking some time off. Even guys worrying about the TJ Watt situation at this point, I would imagine those talks have dimmed quite significantly for the next couple of weeks, and then they'll pick back up at the beginning of July. But you're looking at the Steelers offseason. They've done a lot. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is their guy, their quarterback. He leads a pretty big and splashy list of moves that the Steelers have made this offseason. There might be more in the works. I want to dive into them. Before the show, we both came up with our list of the top moves that the Pittsburgh Steelers should make for the remainder of the summer between now and training camp. There's 5 weeks, I believe, at this point, maybe 4 weeks before the team reports to Latrobe and St. Vincent College. So I'll let you go first. I want your list. This is the top moves, the top 3. I think you came up with 5, so I'll let you rock with 5. Top moves the Pittsburgh Steelers should make between now and training camp.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, I did. I went for the overachiever mentality for this, and I did come up with 5 moves that I think the Steelers should make before the offseason is quote unquote over. I'll rock right into number 1, wide receiver 2. You know, I know I've been banging home that I don't think this is actually going to happen, but I stand by the fact that the Steelers should add a wide receiver 2. I think the trade is the best route. I think free agency sounds more likely. But one way or the other, got to have another weapon for Aaron Rodgers. That is a legitimate weapon in the offense. Number 2, we just touched on it a second ago. You got to get TJ Watt signed. I don't care what it takes. I don't care about any of the back and forth and who wants what, who's doing what to the other. Get the deal done. Number 3, get rid of Cordero Patterson. Listen, Cordero, if you ever want to hang out, I'm down. I'm sure you're the coolest MFer in the world. This is no disrespect to you as a human. You can have dinner at my house anytime. You cannot be on the Steelers football team anymore, man. No. I just do not get it at all. Love you. Number 4. Number 4, they need a slot cornerback. I do not love Beanie Bishop being that guy. Need a starter that you believe in and have more faith in. And lastly, it wasn't really on my radar until a few days ago, until the comment section brought it up and I started doing more research and diving deep. But I think having another tackle added to this competition, either to be the swing tackle or to push, Broderick and Troy, whoever else, I think it might be a good idea for the Steelers to bring in another option for tackle and increase the competition for training camp. So I believe that is my 5, unless I skipped over anything. And I will concede the floor to Noah.
No, I like that. TJ is a must, and before training camp would just calm so many nerves. Like, you'd look at it and just go, all right, there it is. Like, at this point, you just got to add, and the Steelers could add. They have options to add. TJ was the biggest giant question mark that they've had all summer. Okay, cool. Get it done before camp. Cordero, man, we're going to dive into my list here in a second, so I'll let that one rock. Same with wide receiver 2. And to be honest, the offensive tackle is a good one because Calvin Anderson, first, I'll start by saying this, okay? Calvin Anderson was on the Christian Kuntz podcast the other day. Go watch it. And I'm talking to everybody. Go watch it. It's good. And Calvin Anderson, very interesting human being. And you're just watching it going, I like him. I like him as a dude. As a player, I just don't think that the Steelers have somebody that they could rely on right now if Broderick or Troy went down, or even worse, if Broderick stunk, which that's a possibility. That's my thoughts on the swing tackle. Is Broderick hasn't proven himself to be the guy yet. He was thrown into the role as a rookie because Chooks was terrible. As a second-year guy, he got benched for Troy Fautanu and then had to start the rest of the season because Troy got hurt, and he didn't play well. Now, as a third-year guy, you're just saying, okay, you're going to play the most important position on the offensive line. You haven't proven yourself in 2 years. Don't get me wrong, I like Broderick, and I want Broderick to get the opportunity, but there is no backup plan. There is no, for the most important position. This isn't Spencer Anderson's going to have to play guard if Mason goes down, which I'm okay with. This is Calvin Anderson is your starting left tackle for Aaron Rodgers if Broderick Jones is not good. That can't happen. And you can't just let Broderick be terrible for a year. That can't happen either. So I agree with you. I think to me, the most underrated, most pressing need the Steelers have, in all honesty, wide receiver 2, I think there are going to be options. I think TJ is going to be just fine. I think you're going to have options at slot corner. I don't know where your options are at offensive tackle. And I mean, we could pull up, I have actually the list right in front of me here for left tackles that are still available. And there's not many. Jedrick Wills is going to take the season off. George Fant is still out there, but I mean, he's a right tackle. Chooks, not happening. Isaiah Wynn, maybe, but has never been able to be that guy. Maybe you bring back a guy like LaRaven Clark, who wasn't that good when he was here in the first place. Chris Hubbard is a name that always gets floated around to the Steelers, but he's 34 years old. Like, there's just nobody out there right now that you're looking at going, this guy, he can make a difference. He could be the answer for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe Michael Dunn, but I don't even feel good about that one because Cleveland's line last year was not that great. There just aren't options out there, and the Steelers need an option. And to me, that's their most pressing need for sure. Like, you could go wide receiver 2. I really do think it's, if you don't have a left tackle, a swing left tackle, and Broderick is bad, or Troy goes down because he's dealt with injuries in the past, you're in a lot of trouble. Like, a lot of trouble as the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. I'll give you my list here. It relays a little bit off of yours. We'll start with the easy one, and that is replace Cordero Patterson. I mean, I got 3 names here that the Pittsburgh Steelers could go out and sign today that I feel better about having on the roster, even if they don't make it, than having Cordero Patterson. Dearness Johnson, who at one time tore up the Pittsburgh Steelers as a member of the Cleveland Browns, has great kick returning ability, super fast. I'm all about it. Like, if you want to go get another young, I think he's 27 years old, running back that could be a kick returner and compete for a job, cool. Sounds good. That's a name I would go out and get before I'd keep Cordero Patterson on the roster. Deontay Hardy, a dude who played for the Ravens last year, who dealt with injury, who's an all-pro in the past as a kick returner. I mean, why not? You know, why wouldn't you look at a name like that and say, well, he's an option, and he's young, and he's still got a bunch of speed in his game, and maybe, just maybe, the new kick return rules work for him if he gets an opportunity, can stay healthy. Again, training camp body, not a guy that's going to take up a spot in the wide receiver room that you have to worry about. Certainly a guy that could, I mean, if you only keep 3 running backs and 6 wide receivers, and one of them's your kick returner, you feel pretty okay about it. And then the last one here, who's dealt with injuries the last 2 years, you're taking a risk on him, but I think that risk might be worth it. Again, he's a training camp body. Nothing's guaranteed in this line of work, but Nyheim Hines is still on the board. He had a workout with the Texans last month. I heard that he's getting very close to being ready to play again. And if he is, I mean, this dude's a stud when healthy. It's been 2 years, and you got to feel bad for the guy. But if he's healthy, again, a training camp body that you're bringing in here to see if it works. That's my issue with Cordero, is he's not a training camp body. You don't bring in Cordero Patterson. You don't have Cordero Patterson to run your 4th string offense where he's out there taking 2 reps and seeing what he could do, and you're watching him going, oh, that guy's impressive. No, Cordero should be very impressive against 4th string defenders, and if he's not, it's because he's not trying, and the Steelers aren't getting a real look at him. I like options that are younger, have a boatload of speed behind them, and again, are just camp bodies. Number 2, I'm with you on the Beanie Bishop. I like Beanie. I think he's got potential. I'm excited to see what the Steelers can do with them, but I say go get somebody else. Asante Samuel Jr. is going to get a checkup at the end of July. If it's before training camp, you sign him the day that he's available to sign and he's open to signing. Go get Asante Samuel Jr. Go get a Mike Hilton. I don't care. Arthur Millett's still on the market if you want to test him out, which I'm not saying these are better options, but I think they're options, and the Steelers need them right now because they don't have any. I'm not comfortable giving a second-year undrafted guy who got benched last season for Cam Sutton just handing him the starting job and saying, okay, sounds good. Things are just fine. I'd go get Asante Samuel Jr. tops that list. I don't think I'd be making a splash trade for Jalen Ramsey, but maybe, just maybe, if the price was right and you could figure it out, cool. My thought is simple. If the Pittsburgh Steelers are as all in as they appear to be, if they are ready to go win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, which is clearly what the message is, they didn't sign Aaron Rodgers to go win a playoff game and end a streak and say, there it is, guys, we're back. That's not what they did. They went out and they are going all in on this season. Go all in. Go get your corner, your slot corner. I think Asante Samuel Jr. is the move if healthy, but there are other options out there as well. And I'd be okay with the veteran. I would be. For a 1-year deal on Mike Hilton, I wouldn't be upset about it whatsoever. And then number 3, I have it kind of backwards from you. I would not go sign or go get a wide receiver 2 until probably middle of training camp. I would hold off on the position all summer long, and I would let everybody freak out about it, and I would feel totally fine, but I would not go get a wide receiver 2. And the reason I wouldn't go get a wide receiver 2 is because the Steelers have 2 guys that they want to get some sort of look at. And on top of that, they don't have the options that they need to have. And that's going to change. At some point, they're going to be able to call teams like the Saints. At some point, they're going to be able to call teams like Washington. At some point, they're going to call teams like Houston and say, hey, who's available? Are these guys available? That's not an option right now. You don't get to call the Saints and have real talks about a trade because the Saints think they're going to win a Super Bowl with freaking Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck until they realize both of those options are awful and they're not going to win a Super Bowl this season. Then they're going to start thinking, okay, who do we move on from? How do we create cap space? How do we look towards the future and prepare ourselves for next year and the years after that? Chris Olave is a name. Terry McLaurin's a name. Anybody, Houston's got 45 wide receivers. Anybody in Houston is a name. There will be options. You are going to rush and jump the gun. And I, to be honest with you, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, and you end up with Gabe Davis, who's half of what he used to be, you're just kicking yourself 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, because now there's talks again about what you have to do at the trade deadline. If you wait it out, Romeo Doubs might be available. Christian Watson might be available. Again, Chris Olave might be available. There are names out there that might make some sense for the Steelers. I would hold off on signing a wide receiver 2. I think it's too early, and that is my list. Replace Cordero, get competition for Beanie that hopefully starts over him, and then sit your butt down and wait until August to go get a wide receiver.
Is there anyone, as you were putting together your list, is there anyone that you feel any more confident about being available in the middle of training camp for the wide receiver 2 position than right now? Or is there anyone that maybe we haven't mentioned before? Because I think that's where I get stuck, is like, I agree with the sentiment that you're providing here of, they need to wait it out because better options are probably on the horizon. I have a hard time looking at who will be those like camp casualties, or like who might be on the outs around the NFL that could actually be an upgrade at the wide receiver 2 position.
I think it's too early, but there will be names. Okay. What's Christian Kirk's outlook on Houston do for that wide receiver core? You know what I mean? Right. Does it open up the door for a John Mechie? Does it open up the door for Christian Kirk? Do they realize very quickly, nah, we don't really have the room for him, we got to move on from a guy like that? Green Bay has got a ton of options, and I don't know what one's going to be available, but you don't have 5 good wide receivers. It just doesn't happen, especially when already some of those wide receivers were complaining last season about not being involved enough. You don't go and add another guy and then say, oh yeah, Wicks and Romeo Doubs are all of a sudden, they're just going to be super happy about this situation. There'll be other teams. I think it's a little bit early to guess those teams. But I do. Denver's got 14 wide receivers. They're all middle tier wide receivers, but there's a bunch of them out there. And I think at some point,
they're a Super Bowl contender.
Dan
Orlovsky said they're a Super Bowl contender.
According to Dan Orlovsky. And they have a better wide receiver core than the Pittsburgh Steelers, according to Dan Orlovsky, because the Steelers only have DK, and that's their star. But Denver has no stars, and that makes them better. Yeah, great logic on that one. I I would say Denver's a team to watch.
Mhm.
I think Kansas City will be a team to watch. They have a lot of options, to be really honest. But again, like it's too early to guess, but I
Mhm.
imagine like that's what we're going to hit. We're going to hit the point in the summer where teams realize, okay, we need this instead of that, or we need a draft pick here, or this guy's not going to play his best values. Players' value peaks near the end of training camp. Like that's
Mhm.
when everybody is going, okay, we need to make this last minute move to go get this guy or that guy. And to me, that's when you're going to have to give up a pretty penny for these guys, but it's when it makes the most sense. That's why near the end of training camp, you want to know whose name's going to be floating out there as a trade away from the Pittsburgh Steelers? Mason Rudolph. People will be talking Mason to this team, Mason to that team, because there will be teams that say we need a quarterback or we need a backup quarterback, and the Steelers are going to be a team that everybody looks at. Will they trade him? No. But will teams call? Probably, just like the Lions did a couple of years ago. This is what happens all the time. So I just think that you wait until August, things change for the
Mhm.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
So you think it'll be a trade just to be like that
Unless
when
somebody
it
gets
happens?
released, but I don't think it's Amari.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Keenan Allen. I mean, I could look again. I have the free agents here in front of me.
Yeah.
I don't
The
think
actual
that
free agents
it's
available are not good or enticing. I know we
no,
talked a lot
no.
about all those guys before, but yeah, and that's what I meant too a couple minutes ago, where I was like, I don't project anyone to be like anyone surprising that we've talked about in the last couple of weeks from Green Bay, Houston, whoever else being released. I think it's obviously too early to tell for sure, but in my mind, it seems like, yeah, a trade's probably the only way to get that true number 2 wide receiver at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, too early to tell. I accept it. I accept it. But yeah, I think a trade sounds like what the most likeliest route is.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I think the Steelers are going to jump on somebody at some point. They're just, I mean, unless you're sitting here going, and you could go through them. The list is really tiny. Keenan Allen's not coming to Pittsburgh. He made that known. Amari Cooper, I don't think is on the Steelers' radar. I think he would have been here already. Gabe Davis is, but we'll see what happens there. Nelson Aguilar, I'm pretty sure maybe retired. If not, we're good. DJ Chark. Nah, it wouldn't be the worst option, but definitely not a wide receiver too. Tyler Boyd would never come to Pittsburgh. The Steelers don't want him. Brandon Powell, I don't even know who that is. Chris Conley, maybe, but he's 32 years old. Jamison Crowder's 32. Deontay Hardy's a name I tossed out there. And then after that, you're going Gunnar Olszewski and Allen Robinson. And the Steelers, they're not a double dipping team. I just think I think they'd be okay. I think they'd be okay. I think it's a trade. I think a trade makes too much sense for the Steelers. Will it happen? I mean, we'll see. But I do think that a trade for a wide receiver makes a lot of sense. All right.